The crowd divided themselves into groups and began to bury the Wakatilian people that were in the abyss, while Wanyanyekevu separated himself from everyone, taking his jet ship on top of a tall mountain, and wrote, "Why? In the beginning, we were people of different beliefs. We spoke several different languages. Yes, we were great in our own way. The largest continent in the world. Even today. Some even refer to her as a girl, a woman, the mother. Africa. Riches include gold, diamonds, and pearls. The beginning of civilization was started in her. Yet, having so many accomplishments, got credit for none. Creating pyramids, that are scientific wonders of today. Numerous things, that are even used today. Wakatilians today, Negroes, but Africans back then. Let's just call it yesterday. Still unique, different, very simple people. Still not given credit that they are due. Why? Even back then, there are so many people that I could name. From the past to the present, but I won't, for we all know their names. My problem is, why? Why should any human being have to defend themselves? For being a certain race, creed, or color? The past is truly the past. That we learned from. Ignorance played a major part in the Europeans' hearts, which thought they were superior back then. There are even some of those that think that way today. We were murdered, but it was as if killing a fly. We were beaten, much like I've seen some people train a dog. Women were raped, children molested, men tested. Just considered simply as stock. Why? Now, since that time, we celebrated your holidays, fighting your wars. This thing called the 4th of July? But who really won their independence? Give me liberty or give me death. Someone once said, but whom did he refer to? They got their liberty, we were sentenced to death. All men are created equal, except for those of us who were considered savages in those days. Simply because we couldn't read or write in their language. They couldn't understand ours. Did we call them savages? All this for the sake of liberty, they say. But none of it was for us. We fought more wars, but died in vain. Why? Our fathers, our mothers, our children, our ancestors were murdered. Why? I write not to instill hatred for anyone. Just love. The time is now to awaken. Many years we have been miseducated. But we can read and write, now, and learn about the truth. If no one else teaches you the truth, you have you. If I asked you, do you know who you are? If the answer is no, my reply. Why? Red lights flashed on the communicator vibrating on Wanyanyekevu's hip. It was Obe who was calling on the emergency channel. Wanyanyekevu? Wanyanyekevu! Wanyanyekevu quickly answered the communicator. Yes, Obe, what is it? Wanyanyekevu replied. Looks like Oedipus has gotten your message. Look at your GPS. It's covered in a gigantic mass. I can't even count how many there are. He's headed straight to you. Wanyanyekevu shouted the battle cry and ordered all civilians out of the region until further notice. Pressing the emergency button on the communicator as the warriors prepared themselves, Wanyanyekevu called Obe on his device. When they get here, make sure you are behind them, and kill them as quietly as you can until you are noticed. Then take no mercy, those that survive, we will take mercy on whom Sabaoth tells us to. The fearless warriors were ready, and even some civilians joined in to do all they could to help. Yael appears to Wanyanyekevu. Prepare your men for the abyss, for now you fight only flesh, but down there you shall fight only spirits. Fight with honor and not anger, for this battle is not yours but Sabaoth. And then he disappeared. Only miles away, Wanyanyekevu gathers all the warriors, opens his communicator, and says the survivor's prayer. All who come, that are not evil, and those that survive. I will test their hearts, and let Sabaoth decide. Amen. Turning to the civilians. Shoot to kill, however, if they survive, it's because their hearts might be pure, not evil. However, trust none of them until I see them first. Sabaoth will make way for his people to live. Obe was miles behind Oedipus, and Oedipus was unaware of their presence. Obe and Wanyenyekevu sent out all speedsters to minimize Oedipus' army by 10% before Oedipus reached Wanyenyekevu. The speedsters were called back to rest once the fighting began. Oedipus was surrounded, and his men didn't have a chance. With Obe, Elijah, Daniel, Grace and their men in the rear and Wanyenyekevu and the rest were in the front, they devastated Oedipus and his men. The speedsters were called back in to finish the battle. They brought the rest of the men back to Wanyenyekevu as he touched them and decided their fate. They chose 40 men to live, and the rest died on the spot. There stood Oedipus with a broken leg and gunshot to the shoulder. "We finally meet, Oedipus," said Wanyenyekevu. "Who are you?" Oedipus replied. "I am the child of the Most High, who was sent to rescue his people from people like you. This battle was meant to be from the first time I met your youngest son to the oldest, and it was me and my men who had the honor of killing all of them. I see what you have been doing to my people, and the pain is great, but I will not be the one who kills you. Sabaoth's children shall have that honor." Oedipus replies, "Fuck you, and your damn people," and spits on the ground in front of Wanyenyekevu. "Interrogate him for all and any information needed, and let the people have him," Wanyenyekevu said to Jom, as he turned and walked away. After days of interrogating, the men, women, and children all attacked and killed Oedipus.